Shout out to the queen. Shout out to the queen. We got Mike from Greetings from the Garden State in the building today.
Welcome, sir.
Let's let this Jersey ride a little bit. Shout out to all my good people in Jersey, North Jersey, South Jersey, Central Jersey.
He's got a place.
Hudson County, Essex County. That's the only two counties I really know. Morris County.
Essex County. Essex. Essex.
Hudson and Essex. That I know.
You know Bergen County, dude.
Oh, Bergen County. I don't know.
I don't remember. What a hater.
Jersey. Wait, I gotta play the Jersey. Shout out to the queen. I love you. It's heavy Jersey, but I gotta play the Jersey. National anthem. Give me some body bomb there, brother. Hey!
Oh, shit. Bon Jovi. Nobody.
You know about this guy. Hands up, energy up. If you're in the car, roll your windows down. Get him away.
Whoa, no.
Boys,
Hey, yo.
I'm an expert, but boys. Shout out to the king, John Bon Jovi. Damn, I'm gonna have to think. Oh. Gonna let it rock, we're gonna let it drop, then we're gonna get into this interview talking all about New Jersey.
Younger? No, not younger. No, one of them. It wasn't for younger. Go.
Classic movie.
Hell yeah.
Young Guns, they had Charlie Sheen and shit.
Had everybody in it.
Wasn't better than Hot Shots, though. If you know the words, sing along. Not allowed to sing. A lot of haters in my circle. So shout out to Dolly. This one's for Dolly. Oh! Hit me with the beta.
Yeah, you can't.
I am warm up.
Yeah,
Welcome, world.
This guy.
Episode 178, the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast, the last episode of 2024. Got the brother Mike. Welcome again, 2023. I'm a year ahead.
Yeah, you live in the future.
Always ahead of my time, but always later as well. So
never on schedule, always on time.
there you go. I got, as always, my co-host to the left, the brother VS, hungover.
Nah, I'm good, baby. I'm not hungover. I was straight. That's, you know what though? The funny thing is that is the main reason why I drink Hennessy, because I never got hungover and I never get sick on that shit. So that's why I drink that shit.
A little tip for the kids out there.
There you go.
Yeah,
Find
drink the brown, and you
Find
won't go
your
down.
groove. Yeah, exactly. Find your groove, you'll be straight, man. You know what I'm saying? Find what you rock with and don't, it doesn't mess you up. You'll
Stay
be
with
good.
what you know.
Yeah.
Go when you know.
Yeah.
Shout out to the brother Maxie, keeping you out late.
Yeah, man. He was at my house. We was there talking all types of shit, man, till like 2 o'clock in the morning, man.
Shout out to the brother Professor for allowing us to hang out and giving us an early listening session for the Provolone album coming soon.
Can't wait.
Lone, produced entirely by the brother Pro, a.k.a. P Thought.
Yeah.
That'll be dropping in 2024. So we got to hear it. I got the bootleg edition if anybody needs it. $20. Just DM me. I'll send
Don't
it
listen
to
to this guy, man.
you. Well, I think I'm bullshitting. Brother Mike, welcome again.
Yes,
to be
sir.
here.
We're
Yes,
here
sir.
to
Yes,
talk
sir.
about your show, Greetings from the Garden State. We're here to talk about New Jersey, some of our favorite spots, places we love to eat, places we maybe don't love to eat, but we won't talk about them too much. We're going to keep it positive. Some dope spots maybe we never been to, anything and everything going on in New Jersey. We got some shout outs to a couple of good people, and we're just going to have some fun, my bro.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
This is what we about. So first and foremost, at Greetings from the Garden State, make sure you're following. Brother Mike travels all around the Garden State, meets dope people, dope businesses, gets dope interviews, definitely eats well at these exquisite locations. So tell me about a couple of places, or tell me about the last place you went to.
the last place I went to for the show or
Yeah.
just in general?
No, actually, give me in general.
Okay, so we went out to dinner on Friday to this new place in Bloomfield called Fanny's. It's an Italian spot.
Okay.
Vodka pasta. We got the tuna crudo and we got the Wagyu meatballs. All were excellent.
Excellent.
Would definitely recommend. It's like brand new.
Yeah.
Wound up getting a reservation there. But earlier in the week, to kind of like kick it way back, we went to Libretti's in, I think that's Orange. So it's like super old school, kind of in like not a great area, Italian spot with like all mirrors and shit on the walls.
Yeah.
But like the food was crazy.
Right.
So there's another like old school little Jersey Italian spot there. So we've been doing a lot of Italian recently. It's like the winter, you know.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like
Right.
season
Like
starts to
comfort
change.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I need to insulate clearly,
Absolutely.
so you got to do
Absolutely,
that.
yeah.
But
What was the spot Brother Lone was telling us about yesterday? A very vintage Palmer Brothers?
The Palmers, yeah, the
Okay.
Palmer.
De Palmas up here in North Bergen.
In North
80
Bergen, yeah.
something. He said it's a low key spot, little
Yeah.
spot. So
yeah.
definitely something I want to check out because he was describing it
Yeah.
as a very vintage
Yeah.
Italiano spot to check out.
Those are the best places, the hole in the wall places that
my God,
probably
yeah.
haven't been renovated in God knows how long, but the food is still
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah, literally like, so we've been doing this show. I'm the only one that works on it, but
It's a one man team.
everything I do is me. So
Oh,
marketing, recording, scheduling, editing, everything is
Wow.
soup to nuts. Head chef, chief bottle washer, right here. But
Everything.
everything.
Holy shit.
So
Congratulations, brother.
thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
It's a lot of work,
Wow, yeah.
but it, I got my systems down, and like do all that kind of stuff. But like you said, like the hole in the wall spots, like we've been doing the show since October 2021, and in that time, the best spots that we've been to have been the hole in the wall spots.
Yeah,
so
of
like.
course.
I happen to be wearing the Tony's Baltimore Grill hoodie, which is down in AC, which is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's been there for I think in that area since the 20s, in that spot since the 60s. It's a 24-hour-a-day bar, so you can go in whenever you want to get a drink.
Nice.
And they serve food from like 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. And we walked in there at 9 a.m. My girlfriend was with me, and we did the interview. I walk out. She's already like 3 drinks deep with the bartenders at the bar. It's like 9:30 in the morning.
Jeez.
And I was like, all right. So then they started like bringing food out, and the food was insane. There's another place in Camden, Donkey's Place, which is like the best cheesesteak you're going to find literally anywhere. And that's like another like super hole in the wall, and it's in Camden, which is its own kind of spot. But, but you guys here, I mean, like
Yeah.
Union City,
Yes,
Jersey
we
City,
are
North, I mean,
surrounded
like
by
it's a
great food.
crazy
Yeah,
food
yeah.
scene all around here.
Yeah.
What made you want to start the show?
Yeah.
So my old job, I used to sell title insurance, which I will not get into because it's literally the most boring job in the history of jobs.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's like if it's in the real estate world, but it's probably like the least sexy part of the real estate world. And so I got that job a little over 6 years ago. I wound up actually getting laid off at the beginning of October, but that's a story for that's a different part of the story. But during my whole job was to take people out for drinks, go out for lunch, go out to events, shake hands, schmooze,
them,
all that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
COVID happens.
Yeah.
Can't
All
do any
that,
of
yeah,
that.
that's-
So I started doing like virtual networking events. I was always trying to think like outside the box because title insurance is a super old school industry. It's like, this is what we do. You don't really change what we do. And I'm like, no, I want to do like different kinds of stuff. Before that, I was a college baseball coach. So I really had no background in anything that I was doing before that. So COVID rolls around, I start running virtual networking events. I start doing like a LinkedIn video series where I would interview people that would come to my networking events, but they were 5 minutes on Zoom, and I would, I thought I needed to be professional. So I'd wear like a suit jacket and tie, and I had on the computer screen, I put like a little Word doc at the top right into the camera, and I'd read my intro, and I'd read the questions, and a lot of times the guests would read their stuff back to me, like their own answers. And so it was 2 people on a Zoom call reading to each other. So it was like electric content. But people loved it. I did that I figured 2 weeks will go by. I'll run out of people because we would post one every single morning, every weekday morning at 9 a.m. So it was called the Morning Spotlight because in the morning we're spotlighting somebody. And I figured I'd run out of people. And 2 weeks, curve was going to be flat. Everything's going to go back to normal. All good. I wound up doing that show for 12 weeks, so 60 episodes in 12 weeks, so just like churning and burning them. And then because I was interviewing people that were getting like progressively more and more interesting and people that I didn't really know, because the beginning was like my friends that I've been networking with for, at that time, probably like 3 or 4 years then. So I wanted to interject some of my stuff into it, so I kind of transitioned that into more of a long form show. where I was asking more questions and kind of just injecting more by my personality, way less scripted, basically just threw the script out. But I was doing it for work because I was trying to promote it, and they weren't pumped that I was doing it, you know, because it just wasn't what they normally do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they didn't get it. So but I was doing like 1031 exchange topics and commercial real estate taxes and multifamily syndication. I was like ready to gouge my eyes out.
But to some people that are in that field,
Oh yeah,
they love
there
it.
is there is a niche for that, and there are people that crush in the podcasting world that do real estate business, whatever. I mean, I have friends that do really well in that space. But then I was like starting to expand my interests a little bit. I had like some guests that were kind of like peripherally involved in that. Like I had a couple like Olympians on, which you can kind of connect the dots there. It's, you know, challenging yourself. Like one guy was actually on the real Jamaican bobsled team that they made the movie Cool Runnings about. Shout out to Devin. But that started kind of piquing my interest in doing stuff that was different. Right. So then I started doing 2 episodes a week of that show, one for work and one for me, you know, one of those kind of things. And it was all Zoom. I did 1 episode live, like in person like this at my friend's studio down in Trenton. They had me down as a guest, and I was like, this is so cool. Like I need to do in-person interview. It's like such a different thing. Yeah. So I was like, well, how am I going to do that? So then it was like August 2021. You were talking about Hennessy before. I'm a bourbon guy, so I was like a couple bourbons deep, and I started like writing notes out about a show and like trying to brainstorm what a show. I knew I didn't have any money for a studio, which was like the big barrier to what I was trying to do, but I knew I wanted to do stuff in person, and I'm like, well, if I keep it local, then I can go to all these places and record there, and I'll figure out how to make it sound good. Yeah. And the next morning I was like, these are going to be stupid notes, and then I read it, and I was like, this is actually like not that bad of an idea. Yeah. So we put it together. In October, we launched it. So we launched with 3 episodes. We did Calandra's Bakery, which is all over the place, and a legendary spot. We did the Mayo Performing Arts Center, which is the theater in Morristown, which is where I live right now. And we did the Right Cut, which is a barbershop on the campus of Rutgers, which is owned by Tim Wright, who played football there, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, and then eventually like he tore something in his knee, kind of derailed his career, and eventually came back to Rutgers and started the barbershop. So those are like how we launched. And then literally, and I just remember we had no cameras like this. It was literally just like I had a laptop and I would put Zoom on and like record like that. So it was like a little bootleg, and I like keep all my stuff in like a cardboard box. So it just like looks so ridiculous when I'm walking in, and I still use that same cardboard box today. But
with
it
better
works.
Equipment now.
No, literally same stuff. The only thing
yeah.
that's different are the cameras. So I bought a camera, and I use another phone as a secondary camera, and basically but the mics are still the same, like Rode pod mics, and we just kind of roll with those, and those have been beasts and like great mics for what we do, and then
those
just getting
the same little ones we use.
Yeah. So then just from there, it was just kind of like progressively got better and better and better, and the video content got better, and then we started getting more attention and like all that kind of stuff. The guests started to improve. But I'm getting ahead of your questions, so I know that was like, how did you get started with this?
No.
But,
It's fine. When you began earlier, you said, "I'll figure out how to make it sound right."
Yeah.
Did you previously have like any audio experience?
Yeah, I've been editing the Morning Spotlight for 2 years prior to starting that show. So like I knew, and I use I'm such a cheapo, but I use GarageBand and iMovie to edit all my stuff, which to me works.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I get it done,
You
like
say cheapo, I say genius.
Yeah,
I think we use all the same shit.
Yeah, but so I got really good at using those, like fast with like the keyboard shortcuts and like all that kind of stuff. So I can put together my episodes now, which are a little bit more now with the 2 camera setup and all that, like a little bit more nuanced and with more sponsors, like dropping more of those drops in there and stuff. But yeah, just like after a while, I just got really good at it, and then I basically templated the whole thing so that really it's just taking out what we just did and putting in what we're gonna do for this week. So, and we're doing an episode a week. So I'm impressed with you guys at 178.
Thank you, bro.
How long have you been doing this show to have 178 episodes?
We will actually make 5 years next
April. Yeah.
Most podcasts never make it past episode 7.
10, or 10.
Yeah. Which is incredible.
That's a shame, bro. That's barely. You're barely getting to know the space.
Exactly.
Well, I think people really just like turn the mics on sometimes, and they're just like, I'm gonna be fill in the blank. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Rogan.
I'm gonna
you know?
be rich.
Yeah,
Yeah,
be rich.
yeah,
So many
yeah.
people are gonna flock.
Episode 2,
Everyone
they're
wants
gonna
to listen.
sign me up.
Yeah, everyone wants to
no.
listen to what I'm doing. But 170, yeah, that's really impressive. Like I'm at 110 with this show, about 110 right now with this show. I did like 140 with the old show. So like, you know,
You're in there too.
Yeah,
in their
congratulations,
same kinda,
man.
yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
And we linked up at DJ June's celebrity softball game.
Yes.
So shout out to the brother DJ June. Make sure y'all go check out the new single Teteo A Perreo, featuring brother Vinny, Uncle Vinny from Naughty by Nature.
Nice.
And featuring a couple artists that DJ June is working with. Make sure y'all go download that. So shout out to him. We was there. I believe you had your table set up.
Yep.
And you were interviewing a couple people that were there at the spot. Shout out to everybody who was there, matter of fact. That was actually
Yeah, that was a cool event.
that was a really dope event.
Yeah.
Good
Shit.
for Jersey. I like when Jersey comes together and does stuff like
Yeah.
that, man. It's not I could be wrong because I'm not often outside and in the mix, but it doesn't always feel like New Jersey is quick to collaborate.
No.
Yeah.
In the music business, particularly.
Yeah.
I don't know, artists for whatever reason.
It seems like that seems to be the case up here in general, like period. Because if you go anywhere else, you go to Atlanta, all these dudes are working together.
Yeah, Texas is
You know
the
what I'm
same
saying?
thing.
Like all these guys
Yeah.
are working together. They're all looking for each other to work together.
It's weird that artists here are so like, I don't know if it's territorial
yeah,
or
it's crazy.
I don't want to say egotistical. It's just
Do you think it has something to do with the
defensive,
fact
maybe.
that like so I'm not as well versed in like the music world as probably you guys are, but we've had a lot of, you know, local musicians on the show from like Asbury Park and up this way and all that kind of stuff. And I think that a lot of it is kind of like a stigma that Jersey has where it's, you know, people like if you're not from New York or Philly,
Mm-hmm.
who cares?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
but you start looking at people that, you know, that they just did the 50 years of hip hop at was that Prudential Center? I think they did it at.
Yeah.
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 And like you're like, holy shit, I didn't know all these people were from
Jersey,
New
yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah.
But
We've
that like
got a
that's
long list of legends.
yeah, for sure. And I think like that's a big thing. And like the people that I've been lucky because the people that I've collabed with on my show have been super diehard Jersey, like especially like the Asbury Park musicians. Like
Yeah.
they're like, this is our space,
Right.
You know, like we're from Jersey, we're from Asbury Park, and you know we like to collaborate with different people like around the area and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that
I feel like Asbury Park has
Yeah.
a nice music scene over
Yeah.
there.
Well, they cleaned that whole place up down there. Like
Yeah,
it's
for
real
sure.
nice down there now.
yeah, it's like one of
Okay.
my favorite spots to go. Like we'll go off season, like we'll go January,
Right.
just because it's like a year round town because they
Right.
don't
Yeah.
allow Airbnbs. Fun fact in Asbury Park.
They,
They
don't
do
allow.
not allow.
No.
Oh,
So you can do it in Ocean Grove, which is like over the river.
Mhm.
You can't do it in Asbury because
Oh, really?
they just have like laws against that because they don't want it turning into
Right.
just like a a
Seaside,
renter
maybe?
town. Yeah, basically, or like a Wildwood or
Yeah,
whatever.
Right.
So they don't allow them. So you have people that live there full time or just like a summer house. So they're still coming down, quite frequently to check on it and like all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, and like the food scene down there is awesome.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
bar scene is really
Yep.
good. And then most of the places you go, even in the off season, will have live music of some kind. I mean, obviously you have like the Pony and like House of Independence now is kind of on the outs, but yeah, I mean, you have places that are like venues, but then you also have places that are just bringing in super talented musicians to come play, sing, whatever. Yeah, that's probably like my favorite town to visit, go into,
Right.
in Jersey probably.
Yeah,
Asbury Park.
I see
Shout out
you're
to
there
them.
often.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Now you've gotten to travel most of Jersey, I assume.
Yeah, we've gone from Mawa all the way to Wildwood. So we haven't hit Cape May yet. So technically not the whole state, but we're like 20 minutes from the bottom. So, yeah, and like we've gone like a little bit more west, like into South Jersey, kind of like Pine Barrens area, up in Sussex County where, I'm from. It's like all over the place.
Sussex County.
Yeah.
That's another one. I'm gonna make a list of these counties.
Yeah. That's way different than the ones that you actually know. Union and Essex. Yeah.
So let me ask you, since you're born and raised in Jersey?
Yep.
All
Yeah.
right, so shout out to that, as
Yeah.
as I am as well. Are you born and raised?
Oh yeah, fam, Jersey City, man.
Oh, true. Good,
Christ
good
Hospital,
good
baby.
Christ Hospital. Shout out to Christ Hospital.
Hell yeah.
As a New Jersey expert, I don't know if you're on Twitter or a fan of Twitter. I love Twitter, but there's a raging debate on Twitter. And the debate is, does Central Jersey exist? Some people say Central Jersey exists. There are cities, blah, 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 in Central Jersey. Some other people say it's only North and South, and that Central shit is some bullshit.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, so I would say that it does simply for the fact that as you start to progress down the state, so like I'm a North Jersey guy my whole life. Grew up in Pequannock, moved to Sparta right before high school. Now I live in Morristown. We're moving to Bloomfield in February. So like I'm North Jersey through and through.
Right.
South Jersey, I don't really consider the shore. I think the shore is its own spot in and of itself because like that's a whole other vibe, world type of person.
I would say,
I went to school at TCNJ, which is right outside of Trenton, and so like I feel like in that area you start to kind of see the type of person change. So like you go from having like a more of like I compare it, but a New York style person to like more of a Philly style person.
Yeah.
But then there's like that range in the middle, which is kind of like you can go, you know, like Tom's River or Red Bank or like all these other places that are kind of like right in that middle section and be, you know, kind of get both at the same time.
Like an in between.
Yeah. So that's why I do think, and you know, the governor said that he did the decree, you know, so
the governor did a decree?
Yeah, it was
for
like
Central Jersey?
He made it like a real thing that Central Jersey exists and he took a stand on it.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So Central Jersey represents
real.
confusion is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of that, you know, you forget where you are for a second.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my good people in South Jersey, though, man. Shout out to all my good people in Trenton. Shout out to all my good people in Philly.
Hell yeah.
Shout out, I don't know any good people in Camden. I'm sure there are good people there. No, I'm just.
We just did an episode there.
I've never been there.
Which is.
Or I've never stopped there.
Are you guys like a history guys at all?
We love history. I can't say I know
Okay.
like extensive New Jersey.
So if you ever get a chance, so Camden has its flaws.
Yes.
I'll say that.
And a terrible reputation.
Yeah, terrible reputation. However, there are places that are worth going to. So we just did an episode that we released in, I think, October, which wound up will be one of our top episodes of the year.
Nice.
On the Battleship New Jersey, which is a battleship. It's the most decorated battleship in U.S. history. It's seen like 19 battles from World War II all the way through the 90s that was in commission.
Wow.
And we recorded an episode there on the battleship. And it is so impressive to like walk onto it, like walk the deck. You could do a whole tour, go in like the weapons rooms where they had the missiles, where they drive the fucking thing, you know, like all sorts of places. They're working on moving it to a dry dock because it's obviously super old now in Philly. But right now it's docked in Camden.
And you can go
tour
it?
Yeah, it's you do the whole tour. I think is like a mile and a half, and it's a lot of like up and down these ladders and stuff like that. But it's you like feel, because I mean it was in, I think like I forget its first battle, but it was literally built to just shoot out, fight with other battleships, you know, and
exactly,
it's really.
It's from World War One. You're talking about
World War II.
World War II.
It was built in I think like 1943.
Oh wow! Right.
Which is
like
war. Also super crazy because it's insane. You know, like to think that somebody in the 40s built this something that is, it's like so impressive, like how big it is, like the engineering feats of it.
Right.
And then when you're done, go to Donkey's Place in Camden for that cheesesteak that I was talking about before. Okay. They keep weird hours. They're open from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and they're not open on the weekends except for the first Saturdays of the month. But it is worth it. Yeah. Like best cheesesteak I've had. In my life, Donkey's Place.
I got a question.
It's been there for like 85 years.
Since you're big on the eateries and all that, where could I get the best wings in Jersey?
That's hard. Wings are tough.
Yeah. I'm looking for it. That's why I'm really.
I don't know. That's a hard one. I lived in Rochester, New York for a little bit.
Okay.
So like right near Buffalo. So obviously you had like a way different kind of wing of like where Buffalo wings started.
Wait, you lived in Rochester?
Yeah.
Or near Rochester?
In Rochester.
In Rochester?
Yeah. So when I was coaching, I started out at TCNJ. I worked at a school in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for a year, which is like where all the Amish live, and then moved up to Rochester for the last couple years of that part of my career. Where I was like a grad assistant, got a free MBA, got paid to coach, so it was like really cool. Wow. So like, I'm still looking for the wings. So I'll say that. And if I find them, I'll text you, and I'll let you know.
We'll be tapped in.
Yeah,
we'll definitely
for sure.
What's your current favorite?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm looking for. Like, I really haven't.
If you had to go buy some wings right now, you
what's like
know where to go?
I would buy my wings from Sal's.
Oh,
well,
they had good wings.
I would try Sharky's in Clifton.
Okay,
that's a very good spot. Yeah, write that down. They also have a spot in Boonton. I have not been to the Boonton one, but the one in Clifton is really good. They like a lot of different kind of sauces. We get the garlic parm black peppercorn mix, which is really good.
I love a good garlic parm.
Yeah, me too. That's a good spot. We go there quite a bit because we're
What
so
about
close.
Tops?
Tops. I never got wings at Tops. I always get burgers and like other small appetizers. Their burgers are phenomenal.
Since you mentioned it, shout out to the good people at Sal's, Brother Dominic, Brother Rocco, reopening after that tragic fire that took down half the block.
Yeah.
They are open now, so make sure y'all go back, visit them, say what's up, welcome them back to the community that they never left. Get some pizza, get some wings, get some
They got a
drink.
bar.
They got a
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
Say what's up to them, show them love.
Absolutely.
And, they'll be grateful. I'm
West
sure.
New York's finest.
Absolutely. While you're there, or while we're on the subject of West New York's finest, I don't know if this is still considered West New York. It might be New Jersey, but shout out to Dos Amigos. Have you ever heard of a spot called Dos Amigos? All right, Dos Amigos is the self-proclaimed king of the cheesesteak, I guess, but it's not like a Philly cheesesteak.
Nah, it's
Right.
not.
It's like a Cuban cheesesteak.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly.
So it's the sliced steak,
Yeah.
thinly sliced
Thinly
steak,
sliced, yeah.
but not chopped up and shit like
Yeah.
with French fries, and they toast the bread with the cheese inside, and then they open it and put the ingredients in.
Yeah.
With, fried onions. And I love y'all. I'm not thinking about it as I speak about it, and I just really love y'all, man. I've been going
And
there
I'm already
since high school.
going through all the places that I need to go to after this.
And
Yeah.
that's a
the
great
one
spot.
the one thing about
Fair warning. Pardon me for cutting you off. 2 fair warnings. Number 1, when you go in there, you're gonna walk out and you're gonna stink.
yeah.
You're gonna smell like the place.
Yeah.
And number 2, after you eat it, there's a high probability that you're gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
That's
That's
fine.
the only 2 things that
Fine.
I'm warning you about.
It's Sunday.
What makes to me one of the most remarkable things about this place, that sandwich is the only thing on the menu.
Really?
That's
Yes.
the only
See,
thing on the menu.
I like places like that.
Yeah.
Like
That's
when
what
was-
I mean.
I
It's
was talking about
remarkable.
Donkey's Place. They just sell cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Like they have like onion rings and shit, but like
Right.
the only thing that they sell is a cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Like those places, you do one thing or do a couple things super well
Yeah.
rather than do. And Jersey, I think as Jersey people, we're sometimes a little bit conditioned because we're the diner capital of the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
And you have a 15-page diner with Clams Casino to
Yeah,
omelets to
all that shit.
whatever, and you can get anything you want.
Yeah.
And it's like that instant gratification kind of thing. But yeah, I mean those.
But you got to keep it real though.
Oh.
You can't get, how could I put it? You're not gonna go to a diner and order a fucking sirloin steak.
People do, isn't that
Some
crazy?
people should not. is
Yeah,
what
you
you
should not. Right,
You
that's
should
a
not.
better
But that's
answer.
my thing. You should
Yeah.
not. There are some diners where you can't. Like to me, Tops is one of those.
Sure.
Diners.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Tops is by far one of the. They make gourmet food there.
Yeah.
They really do. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the places where you can do that, but you shouldn't do it at other places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Order diner food, not
Yeah.
a fucking sirloin.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, this is not an ad for Tops. So Tops, show us some love.
Word. I go
Yeah.
there. I go there a
Throw
lot,
us an
bro.
invite or sign.
Sure.
But to me, diners always, depending on the diner, obviously, but diners have always had the best burgers to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
diner
about a
burgers.
diner burger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice pizza
it
burger.
comes with the nice
Sure.
size,
Yeah.
the slaw, and the
Yeah.
pickle, and the good diner fries, which always seem to be on point.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would order too much beyond that.
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Standard
in a
diner
diner,
food.
Right.
Yeah.
Just be smart about it.
Yeah,
I had friends that
exactly.
were trying to do like a diner review type of like TikTok or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And we were hanging out and, the girls got omelets or whatever. And he got like a shrimp scampi. And he was like, it really wasn't that good. I was like, because you got fucking shrimp scampi.
Yeah, at a diner,
Then
dude.
he probably like walked in the back and the chef was like, what? Like, we have that? Like, I didn't even know it was on the menu.
I've never made that.
Yeah.
You sure we make that? Yes, you make this. It's on your menu.
Shout out to that though, man. Shout out to all the diners.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to them restaurants that we just mentioned. Shout out to Dos Amigos. I will be pulling up soon. We're gonna go down a long list of wonderful eateries because I have a couple more I want to shout out and a couple places I want to put Brother Mike on, and Brother Mike is surely gonna put us on to some dope spots.
Yeah.
But back to the show. How do you go about researching where it is that you want to visit or set up an interview with? How do you meet your guests?
Well, social media is like the biggest spot. Instagram is like, that's how we got connected.
Yep, absolutely.
That is like the main place where because you could see it, you could see what they're posting. Some of them, a lot of my really great interviews have been referrals.
Okay.
Just because like I'll shout out a spot, Chef Dave Vienna, who was a referral from another previous guest that I had. Met him. He's been on Top Chef. He has his restaurant in Aberdeen, Lita, was just named by Esquire as one of the top 50 restaurants in the country.
Wow.
Congratulations.
It's like a
Yeah.
Portuguese spot. It's Lita, yeah.
Aberdeen, right?
Aberdeen, which is kind of by Asbury, but maybe like 15 minutes from Asbury.
I'm gonna get fat this year.
It's probably, we've been blessed enough to get so many great meals. I mean, we've been like Red Horse by David Burke in Rumson, Nettie's in Tinton Falls, a bunch of places up in North Jersey, but that one meal we had at Lita was crazy. We've been there a couple times since then, but when they first opened and he was like been trying to put this project together for a while, that place definitely worth it. But referrals are another great spot. And then sometimes right now, because the show's gotten to a point where it has some cachet, I guess, and I do get pitched probably like 10 times a week, which is like now sometimes hard to kind of weed through who fits, who doesn't. There's really no hard and fast rule on who is a good guest. But I always just say it's like, if we do local businesses, nonprofits, and the people that are, we say shaping New Jersey in some way. So, I mentioned like Top Chef. We've had people that have been Olympians, people that have been on The Voice, people have been Survivor, Hoboken Mike. He lives right here in Hoboken. Nice. He was runner-up on season 42 of Survivor. We just had him on, or had him on earlier this year. But that's kind of how I do it. It's kind of just like a crapshoot almost, and just trying to find people that have either the person has to have a good story or the place has to have a good story. So like Donkey's Place has a story. It's been there for 85 years. Tony's has a story. It's been there for forever. We did Doc's in Atlantic City, which is Doc's Oyster House, which has been there since 1897, and it's been family owned since 1897, which is super impressive. Wow. So there's a story there, and like that to me is because you can go, like we're talking about like all these great spots, and I think what really starts to tie, especially on the food side, because you realize a lot of these people, how much work, blood, sweat, tears type of thing have gone into where they are today. And like, you could get the best wings in Jersey, or you can get the best burger, best cheesesteak, whatever. But like, what's the path that you took to get from whatever you were doing at the very beginning? Was it like your mom's recipe? Because I think that's really cool. Or was it just kind of like, you ate a bunch of shitty ones and you were like, I need to get a good one, so I'll just make it myself.
Exactly.
So I think that's kind of how I do it. It's more just kind of, figuring out like who connects to like a Jersey audience, and I want it to be people that the audience can interact with in some way. So if they're a restaurant, they can go eat there. If it's a nonprofit, you can support it, volunteer, whatever. If you're a musician, you can go watch them play, and wherever. So like I want it to be a good story, and then somebody that people can connect with in some fashion.
Okay.
And are you at the point now where people are reaching out to you and saying, "Can I be on the show?"
Oh yeah, like 10 times a week at least.
Of course, they watch the show and they're like,
yeah. Especially now because like over the last few months, like we've really kind of really this whole year. So like January, we had an article come out about us in the show, me in the show in New Jersey Monthly, which was really cool to get some like notoriety a little bit. Then we did some TV shows to kind of help promote it. And then from there, like I started getting a lot of pitches like the first half of the year. Then summertime happens and everybody kind of goes away. Then in October, we rebranded. So like these are our new logos and like all that kind of stuff. So we did logos, website, and announced that we brought on the New Jersey Lottery as like our title sponsor. So the show is technically Greetings from the Garden State, powered by the New Jersey Lottery.
Nice.
Which is like huge. Thank you. Yeah, it was like obviously a huge get as a sponsor. But that obviously opens up more doors and more opportunities. Yeah. So, just continuing to kind of like push. And I like what I do because like recording in the studio is awesome. But I think also me going out and in these places, like when we're recording and you get to see, like we talked about the Battleship, you get to see like where we were in like the mess hall where they used to eat dinner, like in 1945, like in the middle of the ocean. Like that's really cool, and then people want to like learn more. It becomes almost like a third guest to a degree, so like that kind of opens up more doors, more opportunities, and so it's really kind of like all over the place, but we do get pitched quite a bit.
So to anybody watching, at Greetings from the Garden State, reach out to Brother Mike. I know we got a lot of chefs, a lot of talented people. Matter of fact, shout out to Chef Petey over at the Concourse Club. Where's that at?
Route 17 in Wilmington, New Jersey.
Okay.
Right off of 17, Route
He's
17.
brother.
I think I just followed them on Instagram actually recently.
Anybody else doing their businesses, all the ladies that have the nonprofits, or the businesses that are out now. Matter of fact, Brother C's, shout out Brother C's and Casa de Lobo. They have a weekly women entrepreneur meeting. Shout out my girl Dolly.
Entrepreneurs.
They have a weekly meeting for all the female entrepreneurs to get together, network, build their stuff. So shout out to him for doing that. But anybody interested, get in contact with Brother Mike at Greetings from the Garden State. Pitch them your idea, your story, your place, whatever.
Story. That's the main thing.
Yeah, story.
I can give a shit if you make donuts. We want to do like something that's real, like people can connect with.
Yeah, and people, good people have a good story, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
Yeah, I think, like, my girlfriend always laughs because I always say, like, I find people so interesting, so it's like I'm an easy sell a lot of times. But I think especially Jersey has that thing because not only, I always say this, we're the most densely populated state in the country. We're like 4th smallest in terms of like geographic area, but we're like 5th biggest, like some crazy, jump.
As far as population,
But we're also one of the most diverse populations in the country too, and everyone is on top of each other. So like you're constantly like you drive around here, like it's like trying to weave my truck through the like the narrow streets, like all that kind of stuff. But you're just around so many different cultures, different types of people, different socioeconomical backgrounds, all that kind of stuff. And then you start to like learn, like they grew up 10 minutes from me, but their story is so different. But at the end of the day, like they'll still go to Sal's or they'll go to, where all the places that we're talking about. And like, that's where you start to see like those overlapping things. Like to me, that's like the super interesting part of it, is like you get to really know people that are so different from you ostensibly, but then they're literally just like you.
There's that one commonality.
Yeah. A lot of times it's food. But, but yeah.
I like that you mentioned that growing up in New Jersey, I don't know what it is to be a kid now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the kids go through. But I remember growing up in Jersey City, and you just had friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You didn't have my Spanish friends and my black friends and my white friends. No,
you just had friends.
You
were cool.
You would have a crew, and it would have Latinos, and you'd have a couple Indian kids in the mix, and white kids and black kids. And it was just, and mind you, this was the 80s,
80s and 90s.
Yeah.
But there was just, I don't even remember it being a topic of conversation or even a thought. It was just like, these are my friends. Whether they were your friends. I think that's how it was divided. Friends from school and friends from your neighborhood.
Yeah, the block.
But it wasn't like, whatever. You would learn these people. You would learn words from different language. You would eat at people's houses and eat foods that you'd never thought of or whatever, and then you come home and tell your mom, she'd be like, well, go eat over there.
And I think that's like why when people leave Jersey and they go to other places, like a lot of times people come back, and then also a lot of times they're like always searching for something, like whether it's pizza, whether it's whatever, because it's like you miss, like you don't realize like what the cultural side of it kind of adds to the whole like mosaic of what Jersey all is, and then they go someplace else and it's totally different. And it's like, like when I started out in school, I was at a school in Pennsylvania and just like wasn't clicking. Like, it just like wasn't for me, because it was just people from, they all look like me basically. And I was like, this feels like weird. And then went to TCNJ, which, was definitely different than that. And then I immediately felt like I fit in. Now they're like, those guys are like my best friends that I've had for, 10, 15 years now, like in their weddings. I officiated one wedding, like all that kind of stuff. Awesome. And it's just like that kind of stuff I think is really important too, because it's, it was what made us who we are,
exactly.
and like why we're sitting here today, like all that kind of stuff.
You, I got to ask you this question.
Okay.
You say you have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And when you book a show at a dope eatery.
Yeah.
Is she like, yeah, I'm coming with you?
100%. Yeah.
She's not missing that.
No question asked. I'm your assistant for the day. Does she help at least a little?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Right, well, she was there when we did the softball game. She was there like helping me get everything set up and all that kind of stuff. And then I took her for a burger afterwards. But when we did Atlantic City, we did like 4 episodes down in Atlantic City. She came with me. She went with me to Donkey's Place in Camden, and then into the Pine Barrens like right after that. That was a whole crazy day. But she's awesome because she went to culinary school. So she's a chef. Yeah. Then she's a butcher by trade, actually. Wow. So she and she knows a lot of people in the industry. So she's actually been helpful also kind of, interacting with people. Like I've never worked a hospitality job in my life, and some people are actually surprised at that because of how many people I know in hospitality now. But that is the great thing about doing something like what I do is obviously it's really cool to sit down, hear the story. I'm not gonna lie, like it is also nice to sometimes get like a free lunch or like we go to a brewery. We go to a brewery and like here's some free beers or whatever it is. And then before it was just me. And then now like having someone to do that with is even better, because it's like she's like looking at the menu and I kind of like let her drive because she knows what she's doing. And I'm just like, I'm here for it. Like, I used to be like, I joke, like I was not, but I used to be a thin man before I met her who cooks all the time and like us eating out all the time. But
that's called the curse of Latin women.
Yeah. She's Cuban.
Forget it.
Has there ever been a spot, and you don't have to name the spot specifically, but has there ever been a spot or an interview set up that she was like, I am not going with you there?
So we did one, and I thought this was hilarious because there's I live in Morristown. Morristown has a deep history of revolutionary ties. So like I live around the corner from George Washington's headquarters, like which he used twice.
There's a big park in Morristown.
It's Jockey Hollow.
Yeah.
Jockey Hollow was where his troops were stationed for 2 winters during the Revolutionary War, and so there's a brewery in Morristown which we go to a lot, Glenbrook Brewery. Shout out to them because they've been a huge supporter of me and what I do and all that kind of stuff. But there's reenactors that hang out there sometimes, and they'll come from a reenactment where they're dressed up in their whole thing and like come in
and all that,
and so I was talking to this guy Steve who wound up being a guest on the show, and he's a history teacher, so he's super tuned in to and I always see him and he's never not in like full uniform, hat, everything down to like the socks the long socks, the shoes are from
war in these outfits.
Big facts. Yeah, that's
oh my God. And so I was like, he wanted to do the show, and I said, fine. I said, but you need to give me some clothes because like I want to wear them too.
Oh, the uniform.
Yeah. And he was like, he goes, I have more Revolutionary era clothes than I do actually
real clothes,
present
regular
day
clothes. Yeah.
And I was like, that's insane. But so we did, and she just kept saying, please don't do that. please don't. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. It's you got to commit to the bit.
Absolutely.
At a certain point.
You should.
Yeah. And so I did it. And I'm just like posting videos, like clips from the episode. And she's like, I've never been less attracted to you in my entire life. I was like, well, it is what it is. But that was probably like the only, anytime it's food, she's in, like no matter what, because she just like, she's a foodie. She loves that kind of stuff. And like, she's always talked about how she was looking for someone that could be like adventurous and like go try stuff and stuff that's like outside of my comfort zone and all that kind of stuff too. And then having her, especially like even around here, like we didn't do an episode in Union City, but we, she drove me around, was like, this is where a bakery my parents used to go to when they were kids.
Oh, she's from this area then.
Well, so her parents are. Okay. Then she grew up in like Montclair, Clifton. Okay. So like not too far.
Yeah, not too far.
But
she knows the area.
Yeah, she knows the area really well. And then, like, we brought a bunch of stuff back from them, and then they were like, oh, my God, like, that's so great. They just, like, instant flashback for them through food, which is cool. Yeah. But, yeah, so food she's always in. Sometimes when I try to, like, push the envelope on some different topics, maybe.
Did she do the battleship?
She could not make it to the battleship that day, but she did. When we did with the Donkey's Place the one day, she came with me to that, and then we drove into the Pine Barrens because we interviewed this folk band that's based out of there. And like Jersey actually has a huge folk tie. Yeah. Like back in the day, like early 1900s, like folk music in Jersey was huge. People would meet up in like central Jersey somewhere. I forget exactly where, and would have like folk music almost competitions. Like, so there's like a huge kind of connection between Jersey and folk music, which people don't really realize. So, and they're also, the theme song of my show is called Ride, because it was like we're riding around Jersey, which is by that band, which is Jackson Pines. So we'll just give them a shout out too.
Big shout out to
but it's more like rocky, less like banjo folk music. But so that there's like another cool thing. So she did that with me, and that was a lot of fun too.
Shout out to that. Man.
What's one thing? It doesn't have to necessarily be an eatery or an interview. I mean, it could be an interview, but what was one thing where you were expecting one thing, but they gave you a totally different thing than you were expecting?
So I would say probably. So I like the way I do my show because it kind of pushes the envelope a little bit on like what a podcast is. Like I'm always trying to like think outside the box. Like what can we do a little bit different and kind of continue to expand. Like so we're going to do some other ones that are going to come up in 24, which we'll talk about things that are coming up later. But we did one in 2022. So in Morristown, there's the Seeing Eye, which is like the premier Seeing Eye dog training center in the country.
Okay.
So I live in Morristown, so I've been seeing these dogs for 4 years living there. And a lot of times people are blindfolded or they're actually blind and they're getting trained with their dog. And I'm like, how does the dog know when to cross the street or where they're going, you know? And so I reached out to them because I just figured, let's just do an interview. And they're like, would you want to do a blindfolded walk with one of the dogs? And I was like, yes. You know, so we did that. And that was probably, I think, our first or second most popular episode of all time.
Right.
My buddy Thomas of Lasso Inc., he's a videographer, so he came out, filmed it for me. So I was mic'd. The head trainer who was with me was mic'd. He was like literally running through the streets of Morristown with a camera, getting like the whole 30-minute walk. So like I'm interviewing him while we're walking, and he's like giving me directions on what the dog's doing, like where we are, kind of.
You're blindfolded?
Totally. It was like they gave me almost pool goggles that were totally blacked out. So I figured I was gonna be blindfolded and I can at least see my feet, you know, like look down through it, but you couldn't see it. It was like sucked onto my eyes. So like that was like a little bit different. Like I reached out thinking there's a reason why I reached out, because one woman said because I cursed on my show once, she would never introduce me to them. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna reach out to them anyway.
I'm gonna do it myself.
And then they came back and were like, let's do it. Like this is gonna be so cool. We would love if you did this. So like that I think was probably because most of the time I know at least a little bit of the story. So either I know them, I've been there before, somebody's introduced me to them in some capacity. So like I kind of know what the story's gonna be most of the time. And but yeah, that was like at least just the interview concept was gonna be like a lot different than what I was normally expecting. You know, so
that's dope though. The unpredictability of your show and where you may end up. And how the interview might even take place, whether it's at their location sitting down or at doing a blindfolded 30-minute walk while the dog is being trained. Like that's awesome, bro. If somebody wants to see your show right now or listen to your show, where is your show available for them?
So I would just send them to the website, which is the hub for everything. So it's greetingsfromthegardenstate.com. Obviously, you mentioned the Instagram. That's probably our most active, most engaging platform that we do. So at Greetings from the Garden State. If you search Greetings from the Garden State, you will find us someplace.
Yeah,
absolutely. For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So everybody make sure you do that. Check them out at Greetings from the Garden State. Dope shows, dope guests, dope content. Just stuff I fuck with, man. I like that you're shining a spotlight on New Jersey and not just a demographic of New Jersey. Like our show caters to mainly music, and we give a platform to artists from anywhere, honestly. But we show a lot of love to New Jersey artists. But it's normally around the music category. But I like that you're able to go and just really anything. I'm really interested in this battleship thing because I like to go like to exhibits and museums and stuff.
There's also a I think a World War II era submarine that's docked in Hackensack, I think. So,
there
close.
is.
Yeah,
there is.
Which is also pretty cool.
On the water?
It's in the water.
Yeah.
It's literally the definition. You know, I didn't know there was a hip hop museum in Newark.
Really?
Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah. I don't know if it was temporary. Maybe I misread it.
Yeah.
But there was maybe it was just for the 50th year anniversary.
What's your preferred genre, Mike?
So I would say now I'm a little bit more of a chameleon, just because like I'm meeting artists and like getting to know them and then like listening to their stuff, and I have like a whole playlist which is like 7 hours long of just Jersey artists, like local Jersey artists.
Right.
You know, I mean, I mentioned like Jackson Pines, people like that, mostly rock type stuff. That's kind of like where I live. But I mean, there's so much from Jersey.
Absolutely.
You know, like
There's
we talked about folk music. Who the hell would even know that folk music had that much, you know, history and stuff in Jersey? Because like we're working on more video projects right now, and hoping to get those into production soon. And I want to keep it like everything Jersey, like all the music, the score. I want it to be Jersey focused and like use local artists to kind of, for the music, and do stuff like all different parts of the state, but do it more on like a video first side, and just like make that stuff like a little bit more engaging rather than just like a stationary camera setup. But so yeah, I would say like rock, but if I love live music. That's like my go-to. Yeah. Like no matter where we are, if we could find something that's live someplace, that's awesome. I'll go. And then, knowing now some artists is also a lot of fun too. So that's also cool.
Hell yeah. Shout out to that. Jersey has a dope rock scene, bro. Always have. Shout out to Lust. Come back, y'all.
Yeah.
we had a local band, Lust, that we fucked with.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think they're on break. Did they change their name? Did they change their name?
They changed their name.
Harvest or some shit like that?
Nuclear Harvest.
Nuclear.
No,
Lust man, Lust, bro.
I like Lust better.
Lust is fire.
Way better.
Oh man, no, we love music. Also, shout out to What Hoboken Sounds Like. They were recently featured in the Jersey Journal for the event that they threw this year, the 50th anniversary of hip hop event. So shout out to them.
And also shout out to a friend of the show, Nell, our boy CF 201.
Yep,
he was in Jersey Journal for his album.
Cool.
Let me shout out another dope spot that's around here that we spoke about briefly. Cuban restaurant Las Palmas on Burger Line. Always showing love. Always, they got the best churrasco. Their tagline, I guess.
Yeah.
Their tagline is the best churrasco in New Jersey, I think, or the world.
They cook it right there in front of you. Not hibachi style, but like you could sit and you could see them actually making your on the grill. It's amazing.
I love that. Sizzling and delicious and smoke. That's another spot you're gonna come out a little stinky of, but
it's a good stink.
That's what I was gonna say before. The place you said you walked out stinking, is it like a good stink?
It's a good stink.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It's that food stink.
Yeah.
It's nostalgic, bro. Like for real. Like I remember going there during school, and then you go back to school, and people are like, "Yo, you stink," but it's the dose. Oh, you went to the dose. Now they're jealous.
Why'd you tell me you was going?
Yeah.
Shout out to them, though, Las Palmas. Shout out to El Sabroso in Jersey City on Central Ave. El Sabroso. Yo, that spot I love because if I'm not mistaken, I don't know about now, but when right now it's in a bigger locale. They moved and, they stepped it up. Congratulations to them. I love them. They always show me love. But before they are where they are at now, they were on an off street behind something else, like next to a parking lot, like type hidden. And when you would walk in, it would be like 4 grandmas. 4, like, no insult, no shots. 4, grandmas.
Yeah,
like
right.
Old school grandmas.
Yeah.
And a little kitchen, and they'd be in there tight, circling around and spinning around, and one grab the rice and do the spin move. The other one's going to put something down to fry or whatever. And the place would be crowded and packed, and you'd have to probably elbow somebody to get your little spot online. But that shit used to be worth it. Now you go and it's like I don't know how to describe it. Almost like a buffet, because it's a longer line. You enter the line and you can walk down, and they'll have their cold stuff and their salads and the main dishes and desserts and blah blah blah. So it's a little more organized and better presentation, I suppose.
Right.
I miss the rowdy little closet.
Yeah.
Fight for your plate,
course,
sure,
and call ahead, and you're yelling at them from the door. Yo, I'm here. They're like, Joseph,
we got your order.
I miss that. I love that. But shout out to them, beautiful ladies. I hope they still own it. I honestly, I haven't been there in a while, but if it's the same little ladies, shout out to them, man. I got mad love for them.
With all these places around here, I'm gonna flip it on you guys for a second. I would have a hard time getting out of place like. Leaving this area to go find food.
True. We struggle with that sometimes.
Because it's like you have so many different options.
Yeah.
Like Jersey City is like one of the best food scenes in the country.
Right.
Like Union City, like all that kind of stuff. Like, does that get hard for you guys sometimes?
It does at times.
Yeah. Yes. You're like, do you wind up eating the same stuff over and over again?
Because some stuff is good, right?
Yeah.
And when you become a regular, you get treated differently.
Of course.
Right.
Yes.
So it's
a lot
like,
of regular.
Do I go to this spot I've never been to and take a risk, and maybe the food is not so good, and maybe the service is not so good?
Yeah.
And maybe I got to go in my car and drive, and maybe there's no parking. Like, there's a lot of little factors.
Yeah.
Or do I walk over to my local spot that they're going to sit me in 2 minutes and, they know my shit, so it's probably, I don't even have to order.
Yeah.
And they're going to take care of me. So
and I know what I'm getting.
It depends.
Yeah.
And also what you said earlier about instant gratification.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're just hungry, might just go to the
Yeah.
pizzeria down the block. And
You know exactly what you're gonna get and
stuff.
how you're gonna feel after.
But also it depends on the person, right? Because you
True.
have to have that adventurous, wanting to find new stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
wanting to try. Some
Sure.
people settle and they'll eat from 3 restaurants for their whole life.
Yeah, true indeed.
They'll be happy, and shout out to them because
Yeah.
hey, as long as you're happy and
I like trying
you
new
enjoy
stuff.
the food,
Yeah.
I like trying new
it
stuff.
don't matter to me. But you have to want to go and try new stuff. Like I'm always down to try new restaurants. I'm always TikTok. I love TikTok just for the restaurants. So I recently went to Puerto Rico in October.
Cool.
And my daughter is very similar to me. So she's like, oh, I went on TikTok and found the 5 best restaurants in Puerto Rico that we got to visit. And I'm like, shit, I got them too. What's your 5? And she's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I got that one on my list too. And then we went and we did some of those spots. So I'll do that like if I'm in fucking Brooklyn.
Right.
I'm like, TikTok, what's in Brooklyn? And
Yeah.
she's like, oh, you got to go here. The only thing, and I'm going to say this directly in the camera, guys, please be careful. Because TikTok and whoever will tell you, hey, go to Poppy's Deli and they got the best chopped cheese. They don't tell you that Poppy's Deli is on the corner of crack and murder, and you should avoid going there between certain hours. They don't give you the free warning or the fair warning, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So please be careful when you're going to these TikTok recommended restaurants.
Yeah, but
a lot of them are fire, but a lot of them might be in little sketchy areas.
Yeah,
that if
remember
you're
that-
not from, you just gotta be careful.
Just don't start walking around.
They're reviewing the food. They're not actually reviewing the establishment.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
area
but they
around it.
gotta come on, man. You can't tell me, yo, this guy got the best empanadas, but you might get shot to get one.
True
Yeah.
indeed, yeah.
Include that in the review, please. I don't want to get shot.
No,
I like
you
empanadas.
included in your review.
I
This is the
will.
greatest, tastiest empanada that I almost got my ass killed for.
But I had to take a bullet. But it's worth it.
It's worth it. It's worth a bullet, y'all.
Yeah. So it depends. So to answer again, it depends on the
Yeah.
person. But I love to go out and find new stuff. I'm dying to go to where we just mentioned where Brother Petey's working at.
Concourse Club.
The
Yeah.
Concourse Club. Yeah. There's little spots I haven't been to in forever that I'm dying to go back to. I think the name of it is the Clam Broth House in Hoboken.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard
I've
of
never
it.
heard of that.
Yeah.
I remember going there with my dad like 30 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And I think they're still open. I
That
could
sounds
be
like a
wrong.
place I would really like.
But no, definitely I'm gonna Google and see if they still exist. And that's for some reason, mind you, I was a child, but I remember they had pina coladas. Like I remember my dad wore it, and I think the shit was the size of this microphone right
Yeah.
here. Like that.
Jesus
I
Christ.
think that's why I remember it because I used to be like, "You're gonna drink that whole thing and drive?"
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Hell yeah."
Yeah.
80s, you gotta love the 80s,
Yeah.
bro. I miss that shit.
No seatbelts, no nothing.
Nah.
Yeah, bro.
But like those childhood ones too. Those are also like big ones.
restaurants, right?
You know?
Yeah.
Food is very nostalgic.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's a place a couple years, or this is like probably 2019 now. I was in Wildwood just like for my birthday over the summer, and I was like, I need to go to Uncle Bill's Pancake House in Cape May because I was like, I remember getting corn pancakes, which they're just pancakes with corn in it, like pieces like kernels.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember as a kid, those were the greatest pancakes I've ever had in my entire life. And I was like, I need to know if they were like the same.
Yeah.
And we went and like we started eating them, and I was like, just it washed over me.
Yeah.
Like how like I was like a kid again. I was like, these are the best fucking pancakes
Yeah.
I've ever had ever. But yeah, like the childhood memory one spots, like those to me are super cool. Because if they're still around, it means they're good.
Yeah.
You know. But a lot of times they are like back then. Like I grew up in the '90s. Back then it was like more hole in the wall. Like this one person owns this one restaurant, not like a chain or a group or whatever owns like 8 restaurants on a block. You know. So. Those nostalgia ones are
The
good.
beauty was that it was your parents were they put on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
They would know. Yeah,
right.
They
Yeah.
would bring
know,
you're basically just tagging along with them to
Yeah.
their spot.
Yeah.
But you remember that shit like, oh damn.
Yeah, that's like what like
And that place, Clam Broth House, I remember their cheeseburgers. Although it's Clam Broth House, I'm sure there are seafood specialties.
Yeah.
I remember he would come home after a night of drinking and he'd have his brown bag and he'll have a burger in there, the greasiest fucking burger you ever had, but it was so banging, and he'll have the damn, I love you, Dad, man. I just spoke to him the other day. God bless him. He'll have fucking WrestleMania something on VCR tape.
Yeah.
Cool.
And yo, that's
Sit
it.
down and eat and watch.
Amazing.
And knock out because the burger's gonna knock out.
yeah.
But I just had one of those moments. I don't know if I told this story on air last show, but I had one of those flashback moments just the other night. I was on Twitter, and they put up a picture of a shirt, and it was a blue and gold shirt, and the question was, what do you know about this shirt? And I'm looking at the shirt, and I'm like, damn, this shirt looks really familiar, bro. Where the fuck do I know it? So I click in the thread, and the next picture is Theo from the Cosby Show, and it was the one shirt he had designed for the episode. That if you like, that shit brought me back when I seen the picture. That I was like, I remember exactly how I was sitting watching this episode, probably with a bowl of fucking Cheerios or some shit. Yeah, and he's like, Denise, you like it? Yeah. So Denise like, oh my God. Yeah. So shout out to the memories, man. Shout out to being young. Shout out to the nostalgic. Speaking of nostalgic, this next spot, Boulevard Drinks on Kennedy Boulevard, Journal Square, Jersey City. I remember being a kid going with my parents to shop in Journal Square back when Journal Square had the flyest, freshest gear. I don't know about it now. Yeah. Actually, I do know. Gear is weird now. So
gear is weird.
But Kennedy, Boulevard Drinks. I call it Kennedy Dog because that's just what I call it, but it's officially Boulevard Drinks. The hot dogs are still banging. Yeah. The onions, homemade onions that they'll sell you the big Chinese plastic cup worth or whatever. The chili, same thing, homemade. You can buy the chili. You can buy the fucking onions. You could even buy the hot dogs and make them at home or whatever. Yeah. But, good people. The brother Ali always showing love. Go there, get your hot dogs, get your fruit punch drink that's out the those old machines. You remember those old machines, the plastic ones that they're clear and you can see the juice like
Oh, it's like spinning around and stuff. Yeah.
Oh man, good shit over there. Boulevard Drinks, man. Definitely check that out, bro.
Yeah. Man. Hot dog spots are always just like one we're always like looking for. Yeah. You know, like we love Rutt's Hut. So shout out them. That's like a legendary spot. We love going to the bar side. So you get like High Life on draft. Couple dogs, chili, whatever. I like Dickie D's in Newark, which is like an Italian style hot dog. So it comes in like a pizza all bread with like, you get a double. So it's like 2 hot dogs and then peppers, potatoes, ketchup and mustard. Like they're deep fried hot dogs.
Does it look like an old Italian deli that's Is there normally a line?
Yeah.
I think I just recently seen that.
It's like, it's by the original, it's like a block or two. I think maybe just a block down from the original Calandras. So like the Calandras that has been there since the 60s. And it's on like right off of Bloomfield. It's like North Newark, like right before you get into
What's it called? Dirty D's?
Dickie D's.
Dickie D's. Dirty D's is something else.
Yeah. Dickie D's is something else too. I'm gonna
check that one out. Though. Yeah. Damn, I'm gonna go check out all these places. Donkey's Place, Dickie D's. Yeah. Lita. Yeah, man.
You like steaks?
Yeah.
You ever been to Steve's Sizzling?
Yeah, 17? We just went there a few months ago with some friends. Sizzling? Very good.
Another hole in the wall spot.
Yes.
Let me tell you about that place.
Okay.
Where's that?
On 17. Right by the concourse.
Garfield? Oh, yeah? Is that Garfield?
No, that's Carlstadt.
Carlstadt.
Yeah, Carlstadt.
Yeah.
My wife put me onto that place. My wife took me there. I've driven by that place, and I've seen that place my entire life. Yeah. Like, ever since I was a little kid. And I've driven by that place a million times, never bothered to go inside. Until my wife's like, you ever been to Steve's? I was like, no, what's Steve's? She took it. I was like, this is Steve's? Oh, shit, I've seen this place. Fucking phenomenal steaks.
Yeah, really good.
The filet mignon, the 8-ounce filet, they serve it on steak fries with mushrooms. And the sauce.
Yeah. Why don't we go there today? Pardon. We're having our late Friendsgiving today. Yeah. Very late.
Super late. You want to go there? We go there.
Hell yeah.
I'll give you another steakhouse. It's a little bit more of a drive than Carlstadt is from here. Okay. But Arthur's in Morris Plains.
Yes, I heard of Arthur's.
Yeah. Also a great spot. We went there last year, I think it was, but like very similar vibe, very similar like style. But phenomenal. Yeah, definitely a good spot.
Yeah, this place, Steve's, is like, it's not nothing fancy. It's not like River Palm Terrace. It doesn't look nothing like
Shout out to River Palm though.
That was a dope place too.
Good, and that's a dope place. But
this place.
Go in there. I go in there and I'll be like, I'm a broke brother, bro. I need to rob somebody. I need to rob this place.